Hello, we are live. Welcome to your everyday English lesson. My name is Jennifer Nascimento, and I am the creator and the teacher here at English Outside the Box. So what is an everyday English lesson? Why are you here? And what can you learn with me in English Outside the Box? Well, everyday English lessons help you, an English learner, master, improve, learn, practice, and perfect your everyday English skills. Now, these everyday English skills are skills that you need to live, work, study, and be more comfortable and confident in English, in daily English use. So everyday English skills are those skills that you need to use English more comfortably and confidently at work or at school or to travel. So I want to know where you are watching from. Some of the people live in the chat, I definitely recognize. I see you, and thanks so much again for joining me this week and every week. If you're new, I want to know where you're from. I want to know your name. I want to know what you're learning. I want to know why you need English in your daily life. I need to know what you want to learn and what you want to connect with. If you're watching this replay, hello. This video is just as beneficial for you as it is for the live participants. So today is jam-packed with information and practice. So if you're watching me live, then woo, you're gonna get some feedback and one-on-one attention, so to speak, in the chat box. But if you're watching the replay, then don't worry, because you're able to get some of the same practice. I'm gonna be starting this lesson by presenting some information, the 4 things you need to change for reported speech. And then at the end of this lesson, we're going to be doing some dictation exercises for you to practice what we've learned today. So if you're watching live, that's great because you can comment and connect in the chat. But if you're watching the replay, that's still okay because you have the opportunity to comment what you hear, to write down what you hear, and you can check your answers on the blog in the full English lesson. So remember, right now we're broadcasting live. This is real time, and we're giving an English lesson live, like almost like we're together in a classroom. So if you want to review the lesson notes later, then you can definitely head to my website, EnglishOutsideTheBox.com. If you click on free lessons or blog, you'll be able to review this information in the lesson notes. Now, I don't provide a whiteboard or slides or visual because I want this lesson to be listening comprehension practice, and I want this lesson to give you connection with real native speakers' English, okay? And if you're using English in your everyday, someone is not going to have, a piece of paper or a whiteboard or a slide showing you the information. So this lesson is all about connecting you with more natural English, but if you are visual, you can review the lesson notes and everything on the blog later. So I know that was a lot of information. That's an introduction for what we're going to do today. So let's get right into the lesson. We are going to be reviewing the 4 changes that you need for reported or indirect speech. This is part 2 of the lesson. Last Tuesday, we talked about the rules for changing. Specifically, we talked about some situations, some instances that you did not need to change reporting verbs, and you didn't need to change sentences in indirect speech. You can still review that lesson on my YouTube channel and on my blog if you didn't watch. Today, we're talking about the situations that you need to change, that you absolutely have to change. So first, what is indirect speech or reported speech? Indirect and reported speech is when you are giving information of what somebody else said. You're reporting what somebody else said. It's indirect speech because it's indirect. It's not direct. It's not the exact words. So if indirect and reported speech are like, I don't know what that means, I'm not familiar with these words, well, indirect and reported speech are, Jennifer said that, he told her that, she asked him if, she told us that, she screamed that, she whispered that. So it's giving information, okay? Sometimes, a lot of the times, we need to change indirect speech. We need to change different parts of the sentence to keep the meaning the same. And that's what we're going to talk about now. The first thing that you absolutely need to change when making changes are necessary is verbs and time tenses. So your verbs and your time tenses must change in indirect speech. I want to give you watching a challenge. What changes do you already know? What changes do you already know about verb tenses and verbs? The most common, the easiest to give you an example is that the simple present changes to the simple past. What other verbs and time tense changes do you know? Write it in the chat. Write it in the comments below. Write it on your piece of paper. But I want you to write it. I want you to say it out loud to practice speaking. So I gave one example, but I want you to tell me what verbs or time tense changes do you already know about in indirect speech? And I'm going to see what you guys tell me in the chat. So again, what do you know about verb and time tense changes in indirect speech? What do you know needs to change? For example, the simple present needs to change to the simple past. But what else? What else needs to change? We have the present perfect changes to the past perfect. That is absolutely a change that's necessary. Simple present to simple past, present perfect to past perfect. May to might. This is getting into modals, Gabriella. We'll get into modals in a minute. Time tense changes. What are other time tenses or verbs that need to change? I'll give you another hint while you're thinking. The simple past also changes to the past perfect. Simple present changes to the simple past. Simple past changes to the past perfect. The simple future be going to, is going to change to was or were going to. So the simple future, be going to, I am, he is, we are going to, is going to change to the was or were going to. Present continuous. Present continuous is going to change to, what is the present continuous going to change to? The present continuous, for example, I am talking to Mike. That is going to change to the, write it in the chat, write it in the comments, give yourself the opportunity to give me the answer to practice. And hello to everybody joining. Hello, hello. I see you in the chat. Thank you for being here. Welcome. I don't want to interrupt the lesson too much. So the present continuous, I am talking to Mike, changes to the past continuous. I said, or he said that he was talking to Mike. The past continuous, I was running a lot last week. I was running a lot last week. We have the past continuous changes to the past perfect continuous. I was running a lot. I was running a lot. Changes to the past perfect continuous. I said that I had been running a lot. So past perfect was running. I'm sorry, past continuous was running. Changes to the past perfect continuous had been running. Whew. Guys, I know, guys and girls, I know this is a lot of information, but we're going to practice. This is just the presentation of the information for now. And we've already talked about the present perfect changing to the present perfect changing to the past perfect. Quick grammar review. Remember, the present perfect tense is the use of has or have plus the past participle. I have been a teacher. Have been represents the present perfect. The past perfect is going to be had and the past participle. I had been a teacher. Had been is the past perfect. Phew. You guys are doing really, really well, so don't worry. Let's have a quick review of those verbs and time tenses that need to change in reported speech. So if we have a sentence in direct speech, that's the simple present, we change it to the simple past. Simple past changes to the past perfect. Simple future, be going to, is going to change to was or were going to. Present continuous changes to the past continuous. Past continuous changes to the past perfect continuous. And the present perfect changes to the past perfect. And again, we're going to do dictation challenges to practice that in a minute, okay? I need it all to sink in. I want it to get comfortable with you before we move on. The next change we have, Gabriella said it in the chat earlier, is modals. Modals need to change. So let's go through this quickly so we can give you practice. In your indirect speech, in your direct speech, in your direct statement, if you use can, that changes to could. If you use may, that changes to might. If you use must, that changes to had to. And if you use will, that changes to would. Hopefully you were answering the change before you heard me say it. So number 2, the second thing that needs to change is modals. Can to could, may to might, must to had to, will to would. All right. Must to had to. Had to. Another change that's necessary, it's a little bit tricky because they are pronouns. Pronouns have to change. They absolutely have to change in reported speech. It's a little bit tricky because it's going to depend on who said the original statement, who is reporting the information, who is relaying or giving that information, and who you're giving the information to. So pronouns definitely need to change to keep the original meaning, but sometimes it can get a little tricky because it really depends on who is saying all of the information. So the blog is going to give, the full English lesson is going to give some more sentence examples that are going to be easier to follow. So definitely check out the website and the full English lesson later today to review. But let's imagine, I said, I am a teacher. I am a teacher, and we need to change that in indirect speech. So you can say she, because I am a woman, right? So the pronoun would be she. She told us, if you're talking to everyone listening to this group chat. So, hey, everybody watching live, I'm a teacher. Somebody comes into the live chat and says, what did Jennifer just say? She told us that she was a teacher. Simple present changes to the simple past. The pronouns change to I told you, right? I'm telling you I'm a teacher. If you are giving the information to somebody else, she told us that she was a teacher. So you can see how those pronouns need to change, but it depends on who is giving what information. She told us she is a teacher. So Pauline in the chat writes, she told us she is a teacher. She did not change that verb to be I am. She says to be is in the present tense. We reviewed last week when changes weren't necessary, and this is an example of it. She told us that she was a teacher. Good. So because I'm still a teacher and it's a fact, the change isn't necessary. But again, review last week's video for those types of changes. This week we're focusing on things that do need to change. So we've reviewed verbs and time tenses that need to change. We've reviewed modals that need to change, and we've just talked about pronouns that need to change. The final thing that needs to change in indirect speech, the fourth thing that you need to change are time words. Now, today, tomorrow, this week, last week, etc. Time words need to change to keep the original meaning. Again, this might depend. These changes are going to depend on when you're giving the information. Remember, these changes are necessary to keep the original meaning, the same. So if you're giving the information later, and I gave information, for example, I can call John now. Okay, imagine that's a sentence. Hey, don't worry, I can call John now. I'll call John now. I can call John now. The time word in that sentence is now, right now, in this exact present moment, right? In the exact present moment, I'm using now. But what if you're saying what I said? What if you're reporting what I said in 1 week, in 2 weeks? You're doing it later. The time word now is not going to be the same. It needs to change to keep the original meaning. So what does the time word now change to? If we need to change the time word now, what does now change to? Do you have any idea? Think about it, write it. Definitely try to think, what does now change to? If you have to change a time word to keep the original meaning, what does now change to? If you said then, if you wrote down then, if you commented then, woo, absolutely, okay? Jen said that she could call them that day. So Myra, so close. Kumiko, Hirofumi, Marigan, yes, she said that she could call John right away. Right away could work, but let's talk about the most common changes. When we need to change the time word, to keep the meaning, now is going to change to then. Now, then. Today changes to that day. So Myra, today changes to that day. I'm going today. She said she was going that day. Today changes to that day. Tomorrow changes to the next day. So try to answer what you think the change is before you hear me say it. Tomorrow changes to the next day. Yesterday changes to the day before. This week or this month changes to that week or that month. Great job. Last week or last month changes to the week before or the month before. Great job. And next week or next month changes to the following week or the following month. Great, great job. Great job. So if you're participating live and you're giving those answers, woo, give yourself a pat on the back and say, good job, go me. So quick review now changes to then, today, that day, tomorrow, the next day, yesterday, the day before, this week or this month, that week, that month, last week, last month, the week or the month before, next week, next month, the following week or the following month. Great, great job. Let's do some sentence practice. Let's do some dictation. So if you're watching live, if you're watching the replay, now is the time to get excited, to get your pencil, to get your pen, to get your fingers ready, because you are going to get practice and feedback right now. Let's get ready. Okay, so I'm going to say a sentence in direct speech, and you are going to change it. I'm going to mix up some of the sentences, so they might be a verb, time, tense change. Maybe they're a modal change. Maybe it's a pronoun change. Maybe it's a time word change. But let's go. Your first exercise, dictation challenge number 1 is, I've never seen that movie. I've never seen that movie. So my direct statement or my direct speech is, I've never seen that movie. What is that in indirect speech? I've never seen that movie. I've never seen that movie. So you want to use indirect, so you can say, Jennifer said that, or Jennifer told us that. Direct is, I've never seen that movie. Indirect would be, she said that, or she told us that. She had never seen that movie. Okay, awesome. Present perfect, I've never seen, changes to past perfect, she had never seen. We need to change the pronouns. I, Jennifer, am a woman. We use the pronoun she. She told us that she had never seen that movie. Fabulous, fabulous. Jennifer said that she had never seen the movie. She told us that she'd never seen that movie. Absolutely needing the past perfect, had never seen. Excellent, excellent job, everybody. Let's do another one. I'm talking to all of you watching. So in English, when we're saying a plural to you as a group, if I was in Texas, I'd say y'all, you all. But in, American English, in everyday English, I can say you guys or you, talking to you plural. This part's important because you want to change that pronoun. I'm saying it to you, the group of people watching, okay? I'm telling you, hey, you all must study reported speech. You all must study reported speech. You all must study reported speech. Again, changing that into indirect or reported speech. Jennifer said, or let's try to use the reporting verb told so you can fix and do the correct pronoun. So I'm telling you all watching, You must study reported speech. You, as a group watching, you must study reported speech. You must study reported speech. Jennifer, or she told us, she said that they all had to study. She told us that we have to study. She told us that we had to study. She told us we had to study. Okay, yes. So let's say Mary and Nagy, you changed the pronoun that they all had to study. They all, but I'm talking to you, Marianne, and you're included in the people I'm talking to. So it should be we. And remember, we talked about the modal must changes to had to, not have to, but had to. You all must study reported speech. Jennifer told us that we had to study reported speech. Jennifer told us that we had to study reported speech. So again, the answer, Jennifer told us that we had to study reported speech, focusing on the pronouns that need to change and the modal must changing to had to. Direct speech, the direct exact words I said, you must study reported speech. Indirect, Jennifer told us that we had to study reported speech. Woo! Let's do one more. Let's do one more. So let's do one more. We are going to do, remember I told you I've never watched that movie. So your new statement to change is, I may watch it this week. I may watch it this week. I may watch it this week. Direct statement, I may watch it this week. How are you going to change that into reported speech or indirect speech if you must change those words? I may watch it this week. I may watch it this week. Then Jennifer said that she told us that I may watch it this week. I may watch it this week. She told us, if you have the reporting verb tell, remember you must always have an object. She told us. She told, you have to have an object after tell always. She told us she might watch it that week. She told us she might watch it that week. She told us that she might watch the movie that week. Jennifer said she might watch the movie that week, Dora. Remember, this week changes to that week. That week. Good correction, Douglas, with watch, not watched. She told us that she might watch the movie that week. She told us that she might watch it that week. So remember, when we have the time word or the time expression, this week, this month, when we need to change it to keep the meaning, we change it to that week. That week, okay? This week, this month changes to that week or that month. Let's do one more. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to tell you one more just because this is so much fun and you're getting so much practice. Your final dictation challenge sentence is, I saw Isabella last month. I saw Isabella last month. Direct, exact words. I saw Isabella last month. I saw Isabella last month. How does that change in direct or reported speech? How does that change in indirect, or reported speech? I saw Isabella last month. I saw Isabella last month. She said that. Jennifer told us that. I saw Isabella last month. Going through some of these comments, so checking your answer if you wrote it on a piece of paper, checking your answer if you wrote it in the comments, checking your answer now that you're watching live. She told us that she had seen Isabella the month before. She told us she had, Pauline, so close, had seen. She told us that she had seen Isabella the month before. She told us that she had seen Isabella the month before. So a lot of changes in that. Let's do one final analysis of that sentence before we go. So direct speech, the exact words. I, Jennifer, right? I said, I saw Isabella last month. I saw Isabella last month. So we have the pronoun I, we have the verb saw, past tense, and we have the time word last month. So we see 3 of our necessary changes in that sentence. The pronoun I needs to change because you are giving that information. So Jennifer said that she, right? I changes to she because I'm a woman. The verb saw changes to the past perfect, had seen. And then our time word last month changes to the month before. Saw, simple past, changes to the past perfect, had seen. Simple past saw changes to the past perfect, had seen. Excellent, excellent job. So you can see that pronouns are a little bit tricky because it's going to depend on who said the sentence, who is giving the sentence, and who they're saying it to. So some of those things can depend. Excellent, excellent job in this live lesson. Reported speech can be pretty confusing, but the practice that you just had was absolutely great. Your dedication, your participation is so important for your learning. So we've reviewed a couple of the things today. We've gone over some sentence examples. We've done some dictation challenges. However, we don't have time to go over all of the changes and give all of the sentence examples. But I want you to have that information. So you are able to review this video, watch the live replay, and review the lesson notes, see more examples, see the changes, and get more practice on my website. So EnglishOutsideTheBox.com, www.EnglishOutsideTheBox.com has the opportunity for you to review this lesson and see the lesson notes. So if you're a visual learner, these lesson notes will help you understand, practice, and review the lesson more successfully, more efficiently. It'll help you connect with the language even more. So again, you can read and review this full lesson on my website, EnglishOutsideTheBox.com. You can go to /blog, or you can click on blog or free lessons at the top of the website to review this lesson and hundreds more. A lot of you guys may be new, so if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Remember, you can join me live every single Tuesday at this time, which is 8:30 a.m. Los Angeles time. Finally, if you want to join my resource library, if you want to get on my email list, if you want to receive more resources in English, then you can sign up using the link that you can see in the description of this video, or you can go to englishoutsidethebox.com/YouTube, and that's going to connect you with even more English resources. If you're watching live, somewhere up here, there's a circle with a little I for information, and you can sign up there. So there are plenty of ways that you can learn with me, and I would love to help you out. So thanks so much for joining me. Thanks for sharing your English journey with me. I hope this lesson connected you to something that is so important for your everyday English use, reported speech. You will absolutely need this grammar topic if you need to use English at work, with friends, while traveling, or in school. So I hope this lesson connected you with more confidence, more comfortable speaking, and of course, more fluency. Send me a message if you have any questions. You can continue commenting and practicing below, and I will see you very, very soon. Thanks for learning with me, and happy studying!